people of Ghana is your Nigerian Get Pressure, bringing you political news in our channel affirmatively. And NDC journalist Manasseh Azure has actually brought out an article to settle the matter of who brought free SHS, whether NDC or MVP. Please, Rich.
Let's hear what Manasseh Azure is saying. His question is, who started free SHS? He says, if there is one issue the media must stop debating, it is who started free SHS, free senior high school policy. There is nothing to debate about this, and the media should be able to point out the facts to whoever brings up that debate on their platforms. That's the part that I agree with him. Even though I know that he's trying to save what is left of his dignity and sanity, he doesn't want to be part of a ridiculous situation. He's saying the right thing. You are a journalist. You have been in this country, or if you have not been, you can read it out. A politician comes to hold a press conference and says, I started free SHS, and you are clapping. You are clapping that you started free SHS. When Akufo-Addo said he was bringing free SHS, one of the groups of people we have to give credit to is journalists. It's journalists and civil society who started punching Akufo-Addo. How are you going to pay for it? How is it going to work? What is going to be free? The tuition or what? PTA fees or what? And all that helped Akufo-Addo to put a serious team together that started working out the analysis. Imani will tell you how many morning breakfast meetings they had with Akufo-Addo discussing free SHS. CDD will tell you how many breakfast meetings they had with Akufo-Addo talking about and engaging on the free SHS. Akufo-Addo brought a policy. Civil society thought that, look, this policy is kind of interesting. Let's go and engage the man. Media were pounding Akufo-Addo every day. In fact, when the free SHS question was asked, he starts laughing because he knows it's going to come. He went to BBC Hard Talk. They pounded him with free SHS. This was a candidate in opposition, never been in government. For several years, he was talking about free SHS. Every day, they are pounding him. Congratulations to the media. Congratulations to civil society. I think together, you helped Akufo-Addo to hone the idea and make it very, very beautiful. And it's now a great idea that people who were opposed to it, people who sat in a room and designed advertising against it, now say that they own it. Let's move on. He said that will help the audience and give the media the space to discuss more important issues. Ghanaians started hearing about free SHS in 2008 when candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo devised it. Some civil society groups and individuals described it as populist and opposed to it. The opposition NDC and their candidates
From
vehemently...
a co-NDC journalist, he has actually come out to say that the first time free SHS was actually publicized was during 2008, when President Nana Akufo-Addo actually said about it. Before the NDC and their candidates proposed it, started giving quality and accessibility instead of free SHS. So it's entirely different from whatever people are actually debating from. Please switch.
He opposed it, saying they would go for quality and accessibility instead of free. Akufo-Addo stayed on his free SHS but lost the 2008 election. He kept faith with it. He kept faith in it and lost in 2012. Then in 2015, when the NDC administration, led by John Mahama, realized that he still had not given up on free SHS, they decided to cripple that policy by implementing something that was an insult to the intelligence of Ghanaians. Here, I don't agree with Manasseh. That's the words he's used are very harsh and quite strong. He said, I mean, we know the story. The story is that Flight Lieutenant Rawlings told John Dramani Mahama that because you had won to, and I've said it so many times, I'll say it again. He said, Mr. Mahama, you have won the elections of 2008, but free SHS won the campaign. And that's a seasoned politician's talk. When a politician is talking like that, that's a very, very seasoned politician. You don't get many politicians saying that, distinguishing between the one who won the election and the one and what won the campaign. Sometimes the same person wins the campaign, same person wins the campaign. But up on free SHS, they decided to cripple that policy by implementing something that was an insult to the intelligence of Ghanaians. Here, I don't agree with Manasseh. The words he's used are very harsh and quite strong. He said, I mean, we know the story. The story is that Flight Lieutenant Rawlings told John Dramani Mahama that because you had won to, and I've said it so many times, I'll say it again. He said, Mr. Mahama, you have won the elections of 2008, but Free SHS won the campaign. And that's a seasoned politician's talk. When a politician is talking like that, that's a very, very seasoned politician. You don't get many politicians saying that, distinguishing between the one who won the election and the one and what won the campaign. Sometimes the same person wins the campaign, same person wins the election, but often it's not the same person. Something wins the campaign and the candidate wins the election. So JJ was telling him that Free SHS won the campaign, but you won the election. If you don't implement Free SHS and the MPP come to power someday and they implement it, Free SHS will hunt the NDC for many election cycles to come. This was Flight Lieutenant Rawlings to President Mahama. And we believe that after that, President Mahama decided that he will do something about it. But what he did was not free. He asked day students to stop paying tuition fees. Stop paying 40% of the fees. What is free about that? That is a fee reduction. So the NDC can say that we started reducing the fees. Yes, you can say that. But to say free, it cannot be the NDC. They started reducing fees. Fair enough. But the free is not them. Okay, let's move on. In September 2015, I wrote an article titled "The Lies About Mahama's Free SHS Policy." And this paragraph from that article shows the deception that the government introduced ostensibly to undermine the Akufo-Addo's Free SHS. Quote, he's quoting from his old article. The government says that 12.2 million has been released to implement the program for the first term of 2015-2016 academic year. The policy will benefit 320,000 students. This means that in a term, each student will only benefit from 38 cedis. 38 cedis is how much each student will benefit from this policy. Ask the SHS students how much each student pays for PTA dues alone, not to talk about other fees per semester. Oh, okay. Quite well written. That's the point I was making about reducing it. This is what Mahama administration did. And nobody could call that Free SHS. When Akufo-Addo took office in 2017, he launched the Free SHS in September of that year. It was the first time secondary education in Ghana was truly free in recent history. I add, for first year students only at the time. Let's move on. Mahama and the NDC cannot claim Free SHS. They did not start it. Even the Northern Scholarship Scheme that has started in Nkrumah's days suffered from funding and schools in the Northwest.
Now, the debate is actually clear because he has actually come out to make some certain demands, some certain clarification with his evidence. And he has come out to publicly say that Jordan Mahama and NDC cannot claim Free SHS. They did not start it. Even the National Scholarship Scheme that has started in that Nkrumah, they suffered from funding in their own time.
Were often closed or reopened late when Mahama was president. This was one of the issues that worked against the Mahama campaign in northern Ghana when the NDC said he was one of their own. These facts are well documented and the media should remind the NDC of this. As I've stated elsewhere, Free SHS is one political promise that has been implemented with admirable sincerity. If Akufo-Addo just wanted to tick a political box, he could have waited and implemented it in the third year. However, he started it in the same year he took office, when some people in his government said he should have waited until the economy stabilized. All that Manasseh is saying is true. And some of us got information straight from that very feisty cabinet meeting, where the president told his cabinet that, look, I am going with Free SHS, whether people like it or not. Because there were some important members of his cabinet who said, Mr. President, you can't. And you see, this issue about Free SHS being implemented as a political promise, I keep saying that Akufo-Addo restored the dignity to politicians, because Ghanaian politicians were now looked down upon when they promise. Because they promise, nothing happens. So we all know that if a politician is saying he will do something, he is lying, it's just populist, he's just talking. But it was Akufo-Addo who changed that dynamics. And therefore, President Mahama was able to promise in 2020. He couldn't promise in 2016. Nobody could promise in 2012. Akufo-Addo was the only one mounting the promising boat. Only him was promising. And he said, I will do it for the Ghanaian people. And the reason why I like Free SHS is that every politician does something, you see. But Free SHS is something a politician cannot benefit from. I'll tell you why. If I'm a politician and I construct roads for the people, and I give a road contractor contracts, what happens is that often the road contractor will come and say thank you to me, and he'll give me something. So if you do roads, you may benefit as a politician. But free SHS, you are telling the teacher that he shouldn't take money from the people for school fees. You are going to pay the school fees to the school. Is it the school fees you are going to pay to the school that is going to give you a kickback? No. So free SHS is a policy that the politician cannot benefit. And this is Akufo-Addo implementing it. That's a genuine politician. A politician who does not want to steal your money is the one who will say that take the taxpayers' money, give it to them, let them pay the school fees. Take the taxpayers' money, pay the school fees of 1 million Ghanaians. Are you going to take kickback from PRESEC? That PRESEC, I pay school fees for 100 people. It is 2 million. So what are you doing with me? What are you doing with me? You can't say that because PRESEC will tell you, hey, the 2 million is not rich, we need more rice bags for the students. So it is only a politician who has a heart for the Ghanaian people who will say that I have control over taxpayers' money. I can do anything with it for the next 4 years. I will take the taxpayers' money and pay the school fees of the children. That's a genuine African politician. Not many. You will not find that in many places. The greatest Kwame Nkrumah implemented free SHS in the Northern Territories alone. He inherited hundreds of millions of pounds from the British people. He did not implement free SHS across the whole country. 5 million people. 5 million people. Today, Akufo-Addo has educated over 2 million people. Nearly half of the population of at Nkrumah's time. Akufo-Addo has educated on free SHS. Nearly half of the population in Nkrumah's time. 5 million people. I don't know how many were going to secondary school at the time, but the total population was 5 million. And Nkrumah had hundreds of millions of pounds. He did not say free SHS throughout the whole country, he said only in the Northern Territories. Akufo-Addo comes, inherits a deficit, huge budget deficit, huge debt, says that free SHS across everywhere. He doesn't end there. He says day students will have dining hall built. Aquinas, I pass there every day. They were building dining hall. They finished building it. Now the dining hall is there. At 2 o'clock, Aquinas secondary school boys go and eat at the dining hall, and then they are on the road. They are going home. That's a politician whose legacy will be enduring. Whatever you want to say about Akufo-Addo, free SHS will make his legacy enduring. And that's why I support him. As I've stated elsewhere, free SHS is one political promise that has been implemented with admirable sincerity. Okay, we read that already. Even if the policy fails, I will still credit the president for his honesty in the implementation. The free SHS has its problems. Some of us believe that many beneficiaries do not need it. Yes, true. This is what I mean. Without the Northern Scholarship Scheme, which offered free SHS to children of Northern Ghana.
This alone has indeed brought so many happiness to the people of Ghana, because not just giving free education now, in the future, in the near future, 10 to 20 years time, you will actually understand that these are depopulated, illiteracy, and any other vices.
10 siblings and I may not have been able to attend high school. Hey, Manasseh, your siblings are 10, so you people are 11. That's a football team. Charlie, your father is a very strong man. Man, I didn't know that. Charlie, greetings to the old man, Manasseh. If he's still alive, greetings to him. Charlie, the guy is brutal. 11 children. Oh, wow, wow. Please, viewers, clap for Manasseh's father. He has 11 children. My 10 siblings and I may not have been able to attend high school, but almost all my siblings and I, who are old enough to be parents, will not need the government to pay fees for our wards. Great. I will want to pay fees for my children so that the government can concentrate on building infrastructure and supporting those who cannot pay. The infrastructure challenges have resulted in double track, which kept some children home for most of the academic year. Their parents had to pay tuition fees to keep them busy, sometimes more expensive than the fees they would have paid at free SHS. That's also true. Despite the problems with this implementation, President Akufo-Addo has been honest with Ghanaians. Those who said it was impossible should not be allowed to spend precious time on radio and TV engaging in needless debate. This language is nice. It's saying the same thing, but it's not as harsh. He says those who said it is impossible should not be allowed. They shouldn't be allowed to spend precious time on radio and television engaging in needless debates. If the NDC had any good political strategies, they would be advised to stay off free SHS debates. I agree with that. Samuel Jemfi, are you listening? Samuel Jemfi, the propaganda secretary of the National Democratic Congress, your partner and friend, Manasseh Azure, who is in the same camp as you. You are all in the blue corner. No, blue is MPP. You're all in the green corner. He's telling you, he's talking about you. He says that if the NDC had any good political strategies, I've been screaming here about who is advising President Mahama. I've been saying it and saying it and saying it. Who is advising President Mahama? Dr. Mani Boama, Joyce Bawa Montgari, Samuel Jemfi, Samuel Nate George, all of you who have been advising President Mahama. Manasseh is saying something that I have been saying for a very, very long time. He's asking the question, if NDC had any good political strategy. He's suggesting that there's no good political strategist around President Mahama. I'm not saying that yet. I'm just wondering, what is the information? What information do you base your advice on? The advice you give President Mahama, they say that an opinion cannot be better than the information upon which it's based. So what information do you base your advice on to give to President Mahama? Because almost all the time, when President Mahama has been advised, you see that there's something missing in the advice. That's what Manasseh is saying. That if they had any good political strategy, they would know that they should stay off free SHS debate. That was what drowned the NDC in 2020. The last minute of the campaign, the NDC stoked the free SHS debate, which stayed on people's minds when they voted. Some parents will not have been able to take their children to senior high school had it not been Akufo-Addo's free SHS. Such parents are eternally grateful to him. To some, that is the only benefit they have received from the government in their lifetime. Correct! Their loyalty to the party that brought that policy cannot be questioned. So you don't remind them about your opponent's most outstanding achievement when convincing them to vote for you. The NDC must not assume that the voters are too stupid to remember when they were asked not to pay fees for their children entering high school. Despite being needless, this debate benefits the MPP, for it is the most tangible social intervention in recent times that has affected many Ghanaians. If voters can be influenced to vote for a particular party with 10 cedis, I think about those who save thousands of cedis, thousands of Ghana cedis because of Akufo-Addo's free SHS.
Manasseh has actually hammered the nail in the right point, as he has actually come out to ask NDC as his own very party why they are struggling with free SHS since they have other policies. They should just focus on all those policies and leave this particular one alone.
They may have other issues with the government, but the more you talk about free SHS, the more you remind them of the reason to vote for the MPP. That's not a good strategy for the NDC. A word to the wise. Manasseh is advising the NDC. Samuel Jemfi, they say that the work you are doing, you don't know how to do it at all. But everything he's saying is right. But Manasseh, why are you worried? It is because they have not developed something to say. They haven't. I mean, they held Manasseh. Did you watch? They held a press conference without talking about energy. The next day, John Jinapor was on Adom talking about energy as one of the NDC priority positions. John Jinapor was not at the press conference. I didn't see him there. Maybe he was, but I didn't see him. And they held an entire press conference and they didn't say anything about energy. Energy, at least, is where the NDC can compete with the MPP. They can say that, okay, you say I brought doom, so you two there was doom, so I added capacity, I did Atuabo, I did the NDC have something to say. And as I said, President Mahama is the only president in the Fourth Republic whose governance has been defined by education and energy. His government has been defined by energy. So how does he conduct a press conference during a second term bid post-presidency for the presidential chair and he is not able to talk about energy? He didn't forget somebody who is advising him on strategy failed President Mahama so badly on that Sunday evening. Somebody failed him and he must find out who that person is and get things started working again, because we need a great campaign from both sides. Dr. Baumia is on the campaign fireworks. It's going on in Bimbela, it's going on in Binduri, it's going on in Kasana Nankana, is going on everywhere. Check your phone, check the videos. They are on the campaign. And guess who is with Dr. Baumia? Kwabene Japan is with him. All the MPP big wigs they are thinking, they are talking, they are pressing flesh, they are working hard to make it possible. Because they are coming from behind. John Mahama is in the lead. So they are working to make it possible. They have a lot to say, and they are saying it. And you don't take that. I said this here before many years ago. The New Patriotic Party is a juggernaut and it's a behemoth. If you think that it doesn't exist, go and ask the NLM people. They will teach you that it exists. Because you see, they are philosophically tied in a certain way. They have a certain philosophical DNA running through them. So they are a behemoth and a juggernaut. They are not very simple to defeat. Go and ask Professor Mills in 2008. Ask Kojo Tumbuafu in 2008. They remember what it took to defeat a divided MPP. 2008 was a divided MPP. Even with that, let me leave it here. Manasseh, thank you. Good night. We'll meet again somewhere. Tell Suleiman.
Please do well to like, comment, follow, put on notification bell so you get all our news one by one. Thanks, my friend.